International Flight Campaign, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out your schedule and your commitment to the International Flight Campaign. Today is Monday, December 22nd, and I just again want to thank you. Vacation is just so exciting what's taking place. Internationals are popping up left and right. We're having new people, new promotions, and guys, you're truly positioned to leverage and take advantage of what's taking place in vacation travel. Guys, we're going to get started. So what I want to do is, number one, just give you a couple overviews. The first thing, again, to get to the website, the IFC website, is internationalflightcampaign.com. As you see on the screen, spelled out, internationalflightcampaign.com. Also, under there, you'll see a tab that says Tools. Under the Tools tab, guys, you have the different PDF files that are actually there for your download. One of the things that's going to happen is we're going to actually focus on taking and adding the videos here as well and putting them in order so that anybody can go back and watch them at any time where we can archive them. And so that's one of the goals. But the password, because it's password protected, is capital I, lowercase IFC, capital C, lowercase AMPAIGN 2015. And again, I'm going to work and see if I can change it and just make it all lowercase or whatever the case may be. But right now, that's the password if you want to get there. Now, we also have a Facebook page. Guys, on the Facebook page, it's a private Facebook page, so you have to be added. One quick thing is if you have somebody on your team who's not on the Facebook page, please add them. It's a great way for us to communicate. It's a great for us to share testimonies, as well as when somebody puts somebody in the system or someone's having success or you have a promotion. We want to know, because that motivates other individuals to see people are having success. And so we definitely want to have in our community, you share that great things. Also, we put audios back here, like we put the Principles for Prosperity. Guys, I only put up the first 4 CDs. There's 4 more that I'm going to add back there, but hopefully you've downloaded these yourself and you put them on your computer. You've downloaded them to your phone so that you can continue to renew your mind. It's so important that you continue to change the way that you think. And so, guys, the reason I know you're going to reach your levels is because you're going to change from the inside out. As you continue to change who you are mentally, then everything else around you is going to begin to change. And so, having said that, what I'm going to do is also, we have a YouTube page. We set up a YouTube page where I upload the videos. In order for me to send them to you, I have to upload them in YouTube. So there's a YouTube channel. If you missed a certain video, you can go back and look at it, all except for last Friday, or the Friday before was recorded. Somehow I got messed up. So anyway, all the videos are back there. We will upload them, and we'll go from there. Now, having said that, guys, let's really do a quick review, and I want to show you what we've covered to this date. It's going to be very, very quick. I'm just going to bullet point or read it, and then we're going to get directly into today's topic. We're going to open up for questions and also a brief role play. I won't keep you on the call long today, the webinar, but I think today will be very insightful. And so the first thing we talked about in the IFC was your mindset. We dealt with the right expectations, and we talked about the importance of you renewing your mind. We introduced a 30-day mental fast, and we encourage each of you to download it, but we want you to go through that. We want you, as you begin to get ready for the new year, we want you to begin to really focus on the mental fast. We also have back there the landmines, things to avoid. We begin to set the standard. We told you that you had to have a minimum of 4 exposures per week. Hopefully you've got yourself in shape. Really, I'm so confident that you guys are going to, what's about to be explosive, what's about to happen as we head into the new year. I'm really, really excited. So we told you had to have a minimum of 4 exposures. And once the holidays are over, we're going to start the accountability from a standpoint of keeping you accountable for what you turn in your information. But in the meantime, we told you to do your goals and dream worksheet, to do the smarter goals. You should have downloaded that. You should be working on it. We said I wasn't trying to, because it was so important for you to fill that sheet out, I wasn't really trying to get you to put a time that you had to have it by 2 days. I really want you to do that sheet. I really want you to do your goals for your finances, for your family, for your health. I really want you to do that, guys. If you don't have a goal, it's like a ship not having a rudder. You're just aimlessly wandering. You're never going to reach your goals. And we told you that we're going to focus on results. Guys, we encourage you, we challenge you to say that IFC is about your skill, and you got to have more appointments. It's only 2 reasons people don't make the money they want. It's because their skill set or they don't have enough appointments. Now, it's so important that we told you keep your priorities in order. God first, your family second, your career and job third, and then vacation travel. So you need to identify your times of availability. You need to identify whether you can do 10 hours 8 hours, 20 hours, 15 hours. Guys, you got to find out what you have to work with, and then you have to we're going to help you put together a schedule. We said you treat it like a business, but you got to work it like a job. The time that you're scheduled to do the business, you got to commit to doing the business. But we told you wherever you are, be there. When you with your family, be with your family. When you at work, be at work. When you at church or temple or wherever it is you fellowship or worship, be there. But when you're doing your business, guess what? Give it all you got. And so we told you it's so important. So we, again, said set SMART goals. And we told you people are your resources. We begin to challenge each of you to make a list of minimum of 100 names. And guys, we had great results. We told you need to grade your names, and you need to pick a champ. And that was just a way of grading it. The C stands for children. The H stands for homeowner. The A stands for ages. The M stands for money, over 40,000. The P stands for professional. And the S stands for, in terms of you working, and the S stands for successful, which means your credibility. And then we encouraged you to do your board of directors. Now, this is all the things you should have did, and this is the last page right here. Now, we introduced the PS3 system. We encouraged we put up the video with a gentleman who was very, very successful, made over $1 million, and he went over how to pique interest, and we covered that as well. We told you the formula for inviting this. You need to be in a hurry. You need to show value, what's in it for them, and you need to be able to take it away. We then told you that there's 4 ways to pique interest to your list. 1 is through friendship. 2 is through curiosity. Another way to pique interest is through extra income. And the 4th way is through need. So when you go through your list to the people that you know, we're not talking about strangers, you're going to talk to them either from a standpoint of friendship. Hey, I need a favor. I value your opinion. You're going to talk to them from a standpoint of curiosity, knowing what you know about Expedia. Would you had extra income? Hey, if it was possible, you make an extra $1,500 a month working from the comfort of your home, would you be interested? Or need? You know that their children, they need to pay for their Christmas, whatever it is. It's only, you deal with those 4 ways, and you know who to talk to. So before you make the phone calls, you know what you're going to say. And we told you that really your job is to sift and sort. Your job really wasn't to recruit anybody. Your job was to sift and sort, to separate the interested people from the non-interested people. On your list, you're going to have someone that was interested, and you're going to have someone that's not interested. They're going to say thank you, no thank you, and it's okay. Spend all your time with interested people. Now you had to set an appointment. Okay, you got interested people, but now you got to get the time to show the presentation. If you can't show the presentation, guess what? So you got to show the presentation. Then we went on and we talked about relaunching your business, and everybody was excited, and you still should be, because guys, we are relaunching. And just trust me, we're going to relaunch. I got 2 more things to cover with you, but we're going to relaunch. And I want to say that I was talking to Schneiser, talking to some of the other diamonds, and what we're going to do is we're going to have some power pack calls that can hold hundreds and hundreds of people. Again, we're going to leverage and plug into what's already in place. But again, watching the video from a gentleman who's making over $1 million, he didn't just have one event that night. He had 4 he just was going for it. And so as a result, we said if we want what he has, we have to be willing to do what he does. And so having said that, guys, we talked about then we introduced overcoming objections, and we did that, talked about the importance of, you're going to have some people that you're going to talk to. They may have some questions. They may have some areas of concerns. So you had to begin to deal with your skill set and learning how to overcome objections. We told you if they had 2 or 3 objections, if they got past 3, you just got to ask yourself, am I talking to the right person, and move on. Don't spend your time trying to convince somebody who don't want to be convinced. We also introduced on the last call tie downs, and we told you tie downs were statements at the end of questions. There were questions at the end of statements. So if someone says, that isn't it, wasn't it, couldn't it, shouldn't it, wouldn't it, we told you about the different tie downs, and that video is coming. But we also talked about and showed you how to overcome some of the common objections. Now, having said that, we're picking up to where we are today. One of the things I want you to do, and I put this on the page, was I want you to do a SWOT analysis. I want you, Belinda, to do before the end of the year, and Baron, I need everybody to do a SWOT analysis. So what happens is, Roderick, is you need to look at, and we're talking about in the business, but I want you to look at do a SWOT analysis. Just like SMARTer goals, I want you to look at different aspects of your life. But with the business, I need you to look at what are your strengths? What advantages do you have? What are your capabilities? What resources? Do you speak more than one language? What are your strengths? Are you confident? Are you skillful? Can you give presentations? Are you in a market with leadership? Is your leader in the same market? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And that's the area you got to look at. What are your weaknesses? I think it's important also to go to a success coach, but identify, it's not for you to beat yourself up and try to find everything that you do wrong. Guys, a lot of times your strengths can also be your weaknesses. You may come up with a lot of ideas, but your weakness may be you never implement them. You may procrastinate. I mean, you can have different weaknesses, but what are your weaknesses? At least if you identify what they are, you can begin to deal with them. Then you got to look at your opportunities. Your opportunities are, what are those things that could present new, maybe you're in a sorority, maybe you're in a fraternity, maybe you just joined a different group. See, what are the opportunities that present themselves? You might be a part of some type of organization, or there are many opportunities. The fact that we open up in London, you may have a contact in London, or you may have somebody in another country. That's an opportunity. But what are your threats? What are the things that could potentially hinder your business in a major way? What are those things that could potentially destroy your business, or really keep you from going to the next level? And so we ask you to really take a look at that. So Richard, now moving forward, guys, there are many tools in Paycation, and I initially was going to do this a little bit different. I initially was going to kind of go over all the tools. I really want to talk about the importance of travel parties. However, this call is going to go a little bit different. I'm going to really focus on the three-way phone call today. I'm going to spend time on the three-way phone call. Many of you, Sandra, know how to do a three-way phone call, but I really want to touch on a few things to make sure you really have it. Then once we have that, we're going to open up, take questions, and we're going to really show you what you need to be doing. So, Shanquelle, again, we told you we're sifting and sorting, and we want to spend all our time with interested people. So, again, I can't stress this enough, guys. You're going to have in your list of people that you're contacting, it's okay. Everybody's not going to be interested. The sooner you detach yourself from the no and you stop taking it personal, and you think that people are saying no to you, they're saying no to the information. They're saying no to the opportunity. They're saying no, at this time, it's not a good time for me. So you have to detach yourself from somebody saying no, not right now, I'm busy. It's okay. Now, some people reserve the right to remain ignorant. Ignorant just means unknowing. They don't know what they don't know. So there's some people who don't know, and they don't know what they're saying no to. So we told you how to overcome those objections. But at the end of the day, guys, all you can do is thank a person for their time. If they're not interested, guess what? Thank them and say, who do you know? Ask them $1 million question. But you want to spend your time with interested people. That's what you got to really get down and really grasp. Now, having said that, the objective tonight, actually, I told you what I really want to do is go over travel parties, how to successfully have a travel party. One-on-ones, field training, I was going to really go over the different ways to present the business. But what I discovered, or as I was getting ready to, as I was preparing this presentation, I really saw the need to really touch on or hone on three-way phone calls. So having said that, again, you take interested people, you got your list of names, you know the ways that you're going to prospect them. So Tawanda, you may call person A and their friend, and you say, listen, you know what, I'm working on a major project. I really value you and John's opinion. I need a favor. I want you to do me a favor and take a look at it and tell me if you see the same income potential I see. And so with your friends, your close friends, you may say that 5 or 10 times, right? It's real simple, Don. What happens is you might just simply go through, or Deborah, and you might, with your friends, ask them. And then you might invite them because they say, okay, I'll take a look at it. You invite them on the launch call. And guess what? As soon as the launch call is over, I encourage everyone, when you get them on the launch call, they say, I'll make it. You get a commitment. Write it down so you are organized. But then what you do is you tell them, say, when you get on, text me. Tell them to chime in a few minutes early, but tell them to text you. That way you know they're on. And guess what? You follow up immediately with your prospects after the call. So having said that, Cynthia, here's what I need you to understand. When you follow up with this individual, Denisha, it's your job to take their temperature. Now, this is where I'm going to slow down. I need y'all to understand this. Sometimes we assume y'all know these things, and I want to make sure that you really understand this. Now it's your time to take their temperature. What do I mean? When you follow up, what you want to ask is, what did you like best about what you heard? Right? See, Desmond, they was on a webinar, and so they heard some information. So you want to find out, what did they like best about what they heard? What I love is they should be able to make a decision. Now, don't mean something they're going to get started, but either they're interested or they're not interested. See, you initially ask the person to do you a favor. You initially ask the person, you use one of those different 4 methods to pique their interest. Now you pique their interest. That just says, I'm interested. That doesn't necessarily mean I want to join. It just means I'm interested. However, now that they've listened to the information, now that they've been on your webinar, now that they've been on the launch call, now that they've seen some form of presentation, you need to gauge or check their temperature. So if they saw something, if they was on a webinar, if they listened to a conference call, if you sat down with them, whatever it is, see, they either saw something or they heard something, one of the two. And you need to ask, what did you like best about what you heard? And once you need to be quiet after you ask that question. So Gail, what did you like best about what you heard? And she's going to answer, well, I like the taxes, or I like the money, or I like the residual income. And guess what? Whatever they say, you agree. And that's going to come up on the next slide, but whatever they say, you agree. And so what happens is this, Gregory, if they saw something, you got to ask them, so what do you like best about what you saw tonight? And listen, and let them tell you. This question is pivotal, guys, because you're not asking what you think. That's not what you're asking them. What you're asking is, what did they like best? You're asking them to evaluate, out of what the information I heard or what I saw, what was the thing I liked the best? And they're going to tell you. Now, your next question, you have another question that you ask. Is, Heidi, you say, listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you ready to get started, 1 being it's not for you, what number would you give yourself? So it's 2 questions you got. When I say it's your time to check the temperature, okay, you piqued their interest. They said, okay, I'll get on. I'll listen to information. You working on the project, I want to know what you're doing, so I'm interested. Don't mean I want to join, just mean I'm interested. Now they listen to some information. They get on a webinar, whatever the case may be. When it's over, you need to follow up. And you need to ask these 2 questions. Write them down, and you need to practice it. What did you like best about what you heard? You might ask, what did you like best about what you saw? Now, once you ask those questions and you listen, whatever they say, you're going to agree with. But the next thing you're going to say is, on a scale of 1 to 10. So Janet, let me ask you this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being you ready to get started, 1 being it's not for you, what number would you give yourself? And guys, you got to be okay with letting them give you whatever answer they say. Don't try to, well, why you only a 7? Why? No, let them tell you what number they would give themselves. So Jason, what happens is this. Now let's move forward. Listen to me. This is what you need to understand. People who give you a 6 or higher, because you can have a lot of people right in the middle. I'm a 5. That just means they're trying to play safe in the road. And that's a nice way for them trying to say, they say, I like what I heard, I'm a 5. Okay. Well, guess what? I ain't got time to work with no 5s. I'm looking for people who at least, I need you to make a decision. So listen to me. 6 or higher. Get your upline expert on the line with interested people. See, your job is to take their temperature. So if you get someone on the line and they say, I'm a 5, I'm a 4, I'm a 3, listen, thank them for their time, and guess what? Conclude the call. Hey, I thank you for your time. Hey, next time you book and travel, I would love to earn your business. Marcy, if you know anybody, you come across anybody, maybe you know somebody, you know what, thank you so much for getting on. I thought it was something you'd be interested in, but hey, it's not. But I will do this. I said, well, can I keep in touch with you? Can I follow back up with you? And so we're going to do that when we talk about the fortunes and the follow. We're going to talk about ways to follow up. But Mona, what I want people to understand, 6 or higher. 6 or higher. Guess what? They tell you what number they are. They tell you if they're interested. You ain't got to try to give them a number. Ask them, where do you see yourself? And if they're in the middle of the road, they're not interested. Guys, stop trying to take, because here's what I do. I get people to give me phone calls and say, well, they wasn't really interested, but can you talk to them? No. Stop doing that. Stop trying to take uninterested people and think that we're not in the convincing business. We're in the sifting and sorting business. Your job is to sort interested people. That's your job. You have to get good at sifting and sorting. So guys, you got to get detached, and it's how fast can you go through the numbers and separate the interested from the non-interested and spend all your time with interested people. Do all your 3 ways with interested people. See, Patsy, when you got interested people, you ain't got to try to convince them. They interested. They'll get on the phone call. They'll come to your meeting. They'll do the things that they need to do, but you spend so much time trying to take people who are not interested and convince them, please come, and then you spend too much time with uninterested people. So I'm really trying to drive this home. Your job is to get interested people in front of your success coach. Now, if they're not interested, ask them for their business. Ask them now that they've seen what you do. Say, hey, listen, would you give me a chance to earn your travel business? That's fair, right? Ask them would they share your business with other people. Ask them, can I post on your page? Ask them. It's okay. They may not be interested in doing the business, and you got to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. I need y'all to hear that. If they're 6 or below, thank them and tell them, hey, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for getting on the call. It means the world to me. Hey, listen, if I can ever do anything to help you, or next time you book and travel, or if I can assist you, would you consider my site? Can I keep, we're going to talk about that in the fortunes of the follow-up, but I need y'all to hear that because we're going to move on. Now, having said that, Rhonda, here's what you need to understand, and this is where it gets real fun. So now, you have the person who's a 6 or higher. So here's what you need to do. You need to move them to a 3-way phone call. So your job is to sift and sort. It's a tag team. So your job is to sift and sort. And Sherilyn, you got these interested people. Now they're interested. Move them to a 3-way phone call. Now I know what you're saying. I couldn't get them on the 3-way phone call. They didn't want to do a 3-way phone call. I'm gonna help you with that today. I feel like I'm gonna help you with that today. See, Alfred, this is what we get good at. This is what we get paid for. Guys, you got to develop your skill. That's why we went over overcoming objections, because yes, they may have one, but you got to get them on the phone to do a 3-way phone call. You have to leverage your leadership. See, you have to take your interested prospects and you got to get them on the phone with somebody who has had success. Now listen to me. Your 3-way phone call could be with a sideline business partner. Your 3-way phone call should be with your national or higher. But your 3-way phone call is just, they need social proof. Listen to me. You got your prospect. And I'm going to give you the psychology behind this today. I'm not going to be long, but I'm going to give you the psychology. I feel like, I don't know who said, but you're going to learn today. You're going to get this today. See, Eris, what I want you to understand is, listen, 3 things people want to know. And if you answer this question, you win. They want to know, number 1, does it work? So the reason why you move yourself out the way is you might just got into business. Yeah, you might be regional, you might be executive, you might be having a level of success, but guess what? The thing is, they're too familiar with you. This is your friend. It's not the stranger. This is your friend. So number 1, they want to know, does it work? Now listen to me. You can't sell your own press. What does that mean? I can't get on the phone and talk about, well, I've done this and I've done this. It don't sound right. It comes across as arrogant and cocky. So what you got to do is, guess what? You let other people edify you. It's not your job to edify yourself. Ms. Gorin, what you got to do is get this person on the line, and they want to know, does it work? So what happens is this. We're going to talk about getting to the 3-way phone. The second thing they want to know is, can I do it? See, they may see it's working, but their question is, can I do it? I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have the time. And that's why you want to do the 3-way phone call. It was great. Mr. Iverson, the VP of Business Development, made this point at our Tuesday night meeting when he went over to training. He said, when you come in and guys, when you do all this talking, you think you impress them because you tell them all these facts. They're thinking, oh my God, I could never do that. I don't have time to learn how to do that. When did you learn? You just got started. When did you learn all that? They're thinking, so what, you thought you was impressed them, but you actually shut yourself down, and they're saying, I can't do that. And because you're doing too much talking. So, but they want to know, can I do it? But when you do it through a phone call, they're saying, I could do that. You mean to tell me I get started and somebody else can help answer the questions? I could do that. Sign me up for that. See, that's why you got to understand the power of the psychology of the 3-way phone call. Because at the end of the day, if they don't believe they can do it, you don't win. They're interested, but now we got to get them to believe this is something that they can do. This can fit in their schedule. So number 1, does it work? You put them on the phone with somebody that's working for. That's why you do the 3-way phone call. Number 2, can I do it? Well, guess what? Anybody you put me on the phone with, I'm going to tell them somebody who's doing, I'm going to put them on the phone with somebody who's doing it like who does the same thing. Or I'm going to tell them, I'm going to share with them why they can do it. And number 3, they want to know, who's going to help me? If I'm getting started, who's going to help me? Well, by you doing a 3-way phone call, guess what? You're already showing that they're going to get the help. Because guess what, Charles? What's happening is the same person's helping you. Oh, will you help me too? Absolutely. And so that's what I need you to, I don't know if you took a screen capture, but you need to understand that's the 3 questions that has to be answered. The person seeing the information, they're interested, but they still have some questions. These 3 questions got to be answered. Does it work? Okay, I heard testimonies. I heard people saying, wow, how they just got started and man, they was able to make their money back. Okay, but can I do it? That's the question. So when you put them on a 3-way phone call, it's called validation. We're able to validate and show, hey, this happened for me. It can happen for you. And number 3, who's going to help me? See, when you move yourself out the way and they see that you're getting help, guess what? It also shows that somebody's going to help them. That's why you want to do 3-way phone calls. Now, let's go a little bit further because, Cynthia, here's what people got to understand. The Edification Triangle. Now, if you've been around me anytime, you've heard me, seen me share this before, but I need everybody to understand this. We're about to do a barrage of 3-way phone calls. I mean, we've been setting you up. We're about to do a whole bunch of 3-way phone calls. And what you're going to see on the screen is trade your ego for equity. Now, I'm going to be honest. When I first started in the industry, in travel, actually in another company, Spencer was my power team leader. And I remember this. A couple things, but I'm going to tell you 2 stories. The first one was so that you understand I'm sharing this from experience. So I'm not telling you, so the things you do, I'm not saying, oh, I did them. But I remember I had my own event planning company. And I had 17 people that used to work with me, and I couldn't pay them a dime, but they would come and they was consistent. And so I just knew, oh, all 17 of these people going to sign up. I just knew it was easy money burn. I was like, oh man, I'm a rock and roll. Because if they would come and volunteer to events and I couldn't pay them, I figured now we could get paid. So I was on the phone calling them, talking to them, telling them everything I heard, and none of them would sign up. And they kept saying no. And I would go back and I said, well, man, I told them everything. And he said, that's the problem. I said, no, I said just what you said. He said, that's the problem. I said, what you mean? He said, you're doing too much talking. What you mean I'm doing? I said the same thing you said. And he began explaining to me the Edification Triangle. And I want to make sure I explain this to you. See, you're at the top. You're the prospect. And guys, I need y'all to get this so that you can teach this. But I need you to understand this. I need you to get this aha moment. Tawanda, when people get this one, when they get this one, I'm telling you, things change. So listen, you are the prospect. You're at the top of the triangle. Now, your prospect is a list of people you did, those 100 people, those 150 people, those 200 people. Between you and your prospect, because their warm market is love and trust. They love you. What I mean by that, Benita, is this. If your best friend, they love you. They trust you. They don't necessarily respect you as it relates to the business. And that's what you got to understand. Your prospects don't necessarily respect you for a travel professional. They don't respect you as a business owner. They don't know you as a business owner. You work next to your coworker. You work right beside them. So you thinking, man, I'm talking to my coworkers. That's the problem. You the one doing the talking. You got to get yourself out the way because they don't see you in that light. You saying, oh my God, that's what I did wrong. Guys, I did it. I mean, I had people that, again, they were close to me and again, but they knew my situation. So I'm saying we can make money in this business. And they was like, nope. And I didn't get it. My ego was in the way. I wanted to be the one to close them. I'm going to show y'all. And it was my ego. But they said, trade your ego for equity. Let's get paid. See, guys, you got to understand, if I have any sports fans, in basketball, they have something called an assist. And so just for the benefit of those who may not be sports fan, a person may have an option to shoot the ball or shoot a difficult shot, but sometimes they'll see somebody who's closer to the basket or open, so they'll throw a pass to that person. And if they don't dribble and they just shoot it and score, they get credit for the points, but the person who threw the pass gets credit for the assist. And guys, you got to understand, the person who threw the assist is just as successful or was just as important as the person who made the bucket. They needed each other. Now, what I need you to understand is this. Between your prospects and you is love and trust, but they don't respect you. Now, listen, they don't know you're upline expert, but I told you it's 3 questions they got to get answered. The first question is, does it work? The second question is, can I do it? And number 3 is, who's going to help me? So it's your job to build credibility for your upline leadership or your sideline leadership, your sideline business partner. It's okay. It could be with a sideline partner. You can do 3 ways with each other, but you want to do it with people who are skillful and good at what they do. So I need you to understand this one. Ooh, Miss Wandra, y'all got to get this one. So listen, if I walked into Miss Wandra's, let's say I never met Miss Wandra, and I begin to walk in her house with, just say Trudy. If I walk without Trudy, Miss Wandra's going to call the police. She's going to hit me with a bat. The Rottweiler going to bite me. Something bad going to happen because she don't know me. She don't know me from Adam, meaning I have no relationship with her. That's why I tell people stop trying to focus on the cold market because this is a relationship business. Now, if you don't have credibility, if you don't have a relationship, you got to build one. So even if you are in the cold market, it's okay. You still got to build a relationship. But listen to me. So there's love and trust, but I don't have any credibility. But you give me credibility. What do I mean? If I walk in Miss Wandra's house with Trudy and Trudy and Miss Wandra are best friends, if I walk in without Trudy, something bad gonna happen. But if I walk in with Trudy, Miss Wandra offer me lemonade, have a seat, how you doing? Hey, you want something to eat? Why? Because of her love and trust for Trudy, I have credibility with her. She don't know me, but she trusts Trudy. She trusts the person that I'm with. That's why you got to do the 3-way phone call. Because here's what you got to understand. You're strong in credibility, but you weaken the knowledge of the business. So in the beginning, when you're first starting out, it's 5% you, but it's 95% your success coach. Your job is to get yourself out the way and get them on the phone with your upline leadership. Ooh, that's good. See, your job, and I'm going to show you how to edify. That's what's going to come up in a second. But if you get this, guys, that's why the next in the orange up there says the person who does the most qualified 3 ways. What's a qualified 3-way? With the interested prospect. Not a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. No. Stop trying to do three-ways with people who are not interested. Qualified means they've seen something and you've asked those two questions. You check their temperature. That means the first question you ask them, what do you like best about what you heard or saw? The second question is on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give yourself? If they say 6, 7, 8, 9, guess what? I got the perfect person to answer that question. So I'm going to show you what to do. But guess what? In the beginning, because you need to learn. See, guys, you earn while you learn. But you do the three-way phone call, and guess what? You throw the assist. You put the ball up by the rim. And guess what? Your upline experts knocks it down. They answer those three questions. And guess what? You got a new business partner. And so you say, oh, this worked. Do it again. You get a new business partner. Do it again. But you know the funny thing, and this is what I don't understand. If you was doing three-way phone calls and you kept signing up people, why do you stop doing three-way phone calls? See, we get grown now, we stop doing it. And guess what? We all been guilty. I can speak from experience. See, the thing that we did to get us there, to have success, and if you hadn't done three-way phone calls, you need to start. The people you signed up, you did three-way phone calls. You say, man, I'm 100%. The people I got on three-way phone call now, you might have to continue to, guess what, put people on the phone, and they are 4. Don't do them. Do not put your upline leadership on the phone with uninterested people. Don't do it. Just keep going through the process. You keep finding, you keep sifting and sorting, finding interested people. But when you find interested people, trade your ego for equity. Get yourself out the way, because in the beginning it's 5% you, 95% your upline expert. But listen, while you're on the phone, you should be taking notes. Whatever question they ask, you need to be writing it down. You need to be writing down the answers. See, guys, that's where you learn this business. You learn this business through listening. Now, one point I want to make, and then I'm going to move on. You provide credibility for your upline leadership. So the reason that they're listening to your leadership is because you edify them. The reason they listen to your leadership is because you gave credibility. Now, they have respect for the leader. Now, the leader could have just got in the week before you. They could be a sideline partner. They don't know that. But if I tell you that this person is having great success, this person is doing some great things, guess what? Because you trust me, you'll listen to that person. And now you understand, now it's 10% you, 90% that person. Why? Because you learn a little bit more. Ultimately, what's going to happen is going to be 15% you, 80%. So you keep doing three ways and you're learning. And you're going to start saying, man, I say the same thing you say. That's good. That's a good thing. Because, guys, that's the problem. Duplication is the key. We got to duplicate the process. And I'm telling you, the person who does the most qualified three ways will make the most money. The most qualified three ways will make the most money. The person who does the most qualified three ways will make the most money. Period. I can stop right there, and this would be great. But let's move on. Let's go a little bit further. Now, let's understand personality types. See, this is what you got to understand, Renee, Miss Houghton, is that there are different personality types. There's 4. Now, just in case you heard it from this standpoint, Miss Hughes, there's the blue, the yellow, the green, the red. Well, some people do it based on fish: the dolphin, the whale, the urchin, and the shark. But let me tell you the difference. It's the same thing. It don't matter which personality test you use. It's the same thing. Uh-oh, I went too fast. The would be considered your dolphin. These are people who are fun-driven. See, guys, how you get with them is you got to discuss how much fun they're going to have in vacation. Ooh, they're going to get to travel. They're going to get to make money. And, oh, my goodness, travel. You're going to keep talking about fam trips and going places because they're the type of person that just love having fun. Now, what I need you to do is identify which color you are on here. When I talk, you need to, number one, know what color you are. Some people, guys, you got to understand, the dolphin, the blue, they're just fun-driven, man. They love having fun. They're the life of the party. I mean, every time you talk, I mean, they travel. Oh, my goodness. They keep a backpack all the time. If anytime they could travel, that's what they're going to do. They love having fun. The yellow is what's considered your whale. They're cause-driven. You ever heard me talk about the crusade? See, to them, how you attract these people is you got to discuss how many people they can help. A lot of times, people who are in professions like nurses, teachers, I'm not automatically saying they're yellow, but a lot of times you can see they're cause-driven. Now, to a person who's yellow, their number one focus, primary focus is not money. So if you keep talking to that person who's yellow about money, 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 you're going to miss them anyway because you're not talking their language. Their language is, how can I help? Oh, I want to make a difference. They're cause-driven, right? They want to see the world travel. They want to see people have fun. They're crusade-driven. Find out their why and then help them achieve it. You got to know. The green, Desmond, it's the urchin. This is like your accountant. They facts-driven. Here's what you got to know. They want to know how long the company been around. They want to know facts. They'll ask you questions in reference to, well, what percentage. I mean, they'll ask you some questions. It's like, don't get mad. Just understand who you're talking to. See, you got to talk facts. You got to talk leadership, company growth. You got to know who you're talking to. With these people, they want to know about financial security. You got to always do a 3-way phone call. But listen to me. You're never going to close them on the first sale. I don't care. Even if everything makes sense, they are not going to close on the first sale because they're facts driven. And if you understand that, they're going to do all their research. They're going to read every policy and procedure. They're going to read everything. And it's okay because some of you on the line like that. You want to know, you want to dot every I, cross every T. I mean, they are not moved to move quick. I don't care who you put on the phone. It's good to do 3 ways. You got to do 3 ways with them, but they want to know facts. And they're not going to close on the first one. But the red, that's your shark. And they are money driven. And I'm telling you, if you talk to them, you don't talk to them about no travel, and you got to know who you're talking to. Because if you sit and talk to them and they sit in the presentation, they want to know how can they make money. They want to know about the comp plan. Guys, now listen. Can you have more than one of these colors? Absolutely. Can you be a blue and red? Can you be a green and a yellow? Yes, you can. But you got to first identify who you are first. Once you identify who you are, then guess what? You got to start speaking that language to that person. Because a lot of times if you talk the right thing to the right person, I know we say this, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the wrong thing to, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I disagree. I know I've said it before myself. I've said it because it's a cliche. It sounds good, and you say it, but I disagree. You can say the wrong thing to the right person. They can be the right person, but if you don't know who you're talking to, and you speaking, like, again, you take a yellow person, you keep talking about money. Oh, we're going to make a lot of money. You're going to miss them. You got to talk about the difference they can make, and can't you just imagine helping kids and exposing them to the world? Oh, man, you got them. Now the blue, if you talk, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're gonna always show up late. They just fun driven. They want to have fun, right? You don't mean they don't want to make money, but they want to have fun first. And if they ain't having fun, if it's not an environment where they feel like they can have fun, you're gonna miss them. The green guys, they want to know, what can I read? What do you have that you can send me? These are accountants. I mean, these are people, not wrong. I mean, they could be, but when they locked in, they locked in. You ain't got to worry about them going nowhere. They're gonna pay their $59.95 because they done calculated everything. But I'm just telling you, they ain't a quick close. And then your reds are your sharks. They get to the money quickly. Talk to them and do a 3-way phone call, but talk to them about how they can make money. Now listen, they're hard to control. They're going to come in doing things their own way. They're going to come in trying to figure out, how can I pay for people? Understand, it's okay. You just got to know who you're talking to. Now that you understand that, let's move a little bit further. Yes. How do you edify? See, now you understand when you edify, because while you're identifying why we cover these 4 points. Leverage the time and talent of your experienced leadership. So what you do is you want to edify. Edify is a simple word that means build up. It means to magnify. It means to uplift. So what happens is you're giving the person on the phone a reason to listen to this individual who's your upline expert. Like I say, it could be a sideline partner. So what happens if Alfred is my prospect and I know about him, I'm not edifying my senior leadership. I'm saying, man, listen, this is what you got to write down. They know 100% of the facts. So if he happens to be green, that's great. Why? Because this person can answer your questions. Well, when you also say, well, they love helping people. See, that's going to identify to the person who's cause driven. Oh, wow, okay. So I love helping people. Guess what? You're going to cover them. Oh, they love to have fun. Oh, my goodness, man, they are so much fun to be around. They love to have fun. That's going to cover your person who's blue, who's your whale. More importantly, they know how to make the money. See, guys, you can edify anybody. And guess what? Some people, we're going to do some edification when we get on the phone, because I want you to get skilled. I need y'all to learn this skill, because it's not that you ain't getting people on the call. You're not getting them to the 3-way phone call. And I need you to take away that block that's hindering you from getting them to the 3-way phone call, so that, guess what? You can have results and you can get paid. So having said that, Rhonda, what I need people to understand is you got to know those 4 things. Now, they don't have to be in order. You don't got to work. You don't got to try to memorize and say, okay, what? No, guys, you should be able to make this a conversation piece. Write down, knows 100% of the facts. Write down, loves to help people. Write down, loves to have fun. Write down, knows how to make the money. So how I would do it in a sentence form, I'm going to say, Roger, man, I'm so excited. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself? I'm an 8. Awesome. Let me ask you this. What would it take to move you from an 8 to a 10? What question do you need to answer? You say, Shetty, do you ask that or do the leader ask? I'm going to ask that. Because guess what? I just want to know what this question is. And I'm going to say, I got the perfect person to answer that question. See, I'm not going to give them a choice to say, let's do a 3-way. They don't know what a 3-way is. See, if you hesitate and you don't go straight into the three-way? I don't ask for permission to do a three-way. I'm telling them I'm about to do a three-way. But listen to this real quick, guys. Sometimes we use terminology, and if they're not familiar with the terminology, they're going to go with what their mindset. So, have you ever seen somebody go to the car dealership? When they go to the car dealership, the sales associate will go get this manager, and then they feel like they're being haggled. That's why people resist doing a three-way phone call. They think you're about to put them on the phone with somebody who's about to pressure them. And you got to let them know, oh, no, I'm being helped. Somebody's helping me. I'm just getting started. Guys, get into the three-way phone call. So this is an example. And this is what I need you to see. I hope you're paying attention. It's getting gooder and gooder. Well, this is good to me. So, Sarita, here's what happens. So we're talking, and John, I asked him, so John, he was on a launch call. He said, man, that was great. I called him afterwards. I told him to text me while he was on. He texted me, said I'm on. I said, great. I'm texting back, ain't that awesome? And he's like, text, man, that's good. So after it's over, I call him. I say, now, while he's on the call, I'm going to tell you already, this is the next slide. I'm texting my leader. Will you be available? I got 3 guests that's on the call. Will you be available to do a 3-way phone call? I'm texting them early so they can be prepared. But listen to me. John, what'd you like best about what you heard? So Sarita asked that. And WFA simply means wait for an answer. Do not interrupt. Just wait for an answer. And if they don't answer, ask them the same question again. So John, what did you like best about what you heard? If John starts talking about something different and does not answer your question, do not repeat what John says. Do not answer John's question. Simply reiterate. Oh, maybe you didn't hear me. John, what did you like best about what you heard tonight? And whatever he says, agree. I like the tax break. You know what, John? Me too. I like the making money. You know what? Oh my goodness, that's my favorite part. Oh, I love to travel. Me too. Whatever they say, guess what? Me too. That's your answer. Whatever they say, you respond and you agree. That was my favorite part too. That was the very thing that interests me as well. Look at here. But whatever they say, you agree. You got to be agreeable. Me too. Right? On a scale of 1 to 10, John, what number would you give yourself? And guess what? Wait for an answer. It's 10 being, tell them what it means. 10 being, you ready to get started. You don't need to hear nothing else. You ready to get started. 1 being, it's not for you. John, what number would you give yourself? And whatever John says, you have to be okay. It's not personal. John says, I'm a 5. Really, John? Man, I thought this would be something right up your alley. Well, you know what, John? I thank you so much for your time. You know what? If you ever think about booking travel, I would love if you consider my site. You know, if you ever know anybody who's maybe looking to make some extra income, I appreciate if you refer me. Guess what? I'm okay. You got to be okay. But if John said he's a 6, a 7, or 8, you say, awesome. John, let me ask you a question. Now watch this third question. What would it take to move you from a 6 to a 10? Meaning, what question would you have? What would it take you? Do I ask that question? Yes, you ask that question. What would it take you to move you? Because you need to know what the answer is. You need to know what their question is. Isolate their question. So they say, you know, I'm a 6, I'm a 7. Okay, Sarita, I know I said John, but just follow me. So if I was talking to Sarita, I said, Sarita, awesome. So let me ask you, what would it take to move you from a 7 to a 10? What questions do you have that if you got answer could move you from a 7 to a 10? Well, I just need to do a little more research. Okay. Well, whatever they say, you are okay. So you know what, John, I got the perfect person to answer that question for you. You know what? Matter of fact, see, that's how you move directly into the 3-way. I got the perfect. You don't go and ask them, I want to do a 3-way. I want to get you on the phone. No, because they feel like you're about to pressure them. You just go straight into, I got the perfect person to ask that. And you start edifying that person, right? That's a great question. You know what, John, that's a phenomenal question. I like what Spencer said. He said, how do you spell vacation? You know, I got the perfect person. You move yourself out the way and you immediately move them to the 3-way phone call. I'm working directly with one of the top leaders. I got the perfect person, you know, to answer that question. Now, let's go a little bit further. Before you go into doing your appointment, alert your leader. So that's what I meant earlier. If Sarita, you had them text you and you know you got 3 people on the call, Deborah, you know you got 2 or 3 people, you know you got somebody about to get on the webinar and you ask them to text you, you let your leader know. I got a hot one. Let me back up. I may potentially, because it's your job to filter. And if they ain't ready, you just simply text it. They weren't, you know, not interested. And it's okay. Your leader's not going to be upset because you alerted them, say, hey, will you be available? Just text them again, say, hey, it's a no-go. They don't appreciate you respecting their time. So, Tawanda, what I love is this. You ask those 2 questions, really it's 2.5. Would you like best about what you heard or saw? On a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give yourself? And then ask them, 0.5 is, what would it take you to move you from that 7, 6, 8, 9 to a 10? What's the question? Why do I say that? I'm about to show you right now. Now, listen what I need you to do. So what it says is before you're doing your appointment, alert your leader. Hey, Jackie, I got 2 guests that are on. That's going to be on tonight. That's I guess that's supposed to be on tonight's launch call. If they're interested, will you be available to do a 3-way phone call? Shanquell and they text back, yes, absolutely. Right? And guess what? When you text me back, it's a go, or I know you're calling me. I'm ready for the 3-way because you already texted me and told me you was doing one. With qualified. I need y'all to understand that. Please understand that. Qualified. Stop putting me on the phone. Stop trying to put your leader on the phone with people who are not qualified. I'm going to stress that. But listen to me. What your job is to edify. When you're talking to them, I'm working with the perfect person. Now, this guy I'm working with, this lady I'm working with, oh, my goodness, they are phenomenal. You know, they know 100% of the facts. They love you. You do the edification before you get your leader on the phone. So it's your job to tell them they know 100% of the facts. They love to have fun. They personally work with me and mentor me. They told me if I knew anybody else who I thought would be sharp, that they would mentor them. That would be you. But more importantly, they know how to make the money. You know what? Now listen, they're extremely busy. They're working with hundreds of people. I can't promise I'll be able to get them a lot of time, but if I grab them, so hold on one second. And guess what? I'm not asking you to do a 3. I'm putting you on the phone. But I'm telling you that the person's busy. Why? Because here's what happens. Y'all get so, if the person don't pick up, oh my God, they didn't pick up. I had the person. Tell them up front the person is busy. So if they don't pick up, let me give you an example. You could actually text me and say, are you available for a 3-way? And I say, let's do it. And guess what? 2 other people could do the same thing and call right before you call. And I'm on a 3-way. I cannot pick up because I'm doing a 3-way. But guess what? As soon as that 3-way over, the next call is coming in. So guess what? Just tell them, hey, don't get offended or, oh my goodness, I couldn't get them. Don't pressure. You already told them up front, the person's busy. If you do the job and tell them that the person's busy up front, then guess what? You say, you know what? I couldn't reach them, but they called me when they call me back. Now I'm going to slow down because I'm going to tell you 2 things. I'm wrapping up. You'll be amazed how many people that because you edified a leader and they are so surprised that, wow, you was able to get them on the phone. Wow. That's what closed them. I've talked to several people. They said, you know what? I didn't think they was going to be able to get you on the phone. I'm really impressed that they're able to get the leadership on the phone. Guys, but if you tell them up front that the person's busy, that they work with a lot of people, but they're personally helping you, we're going to call you back, particularly if you just send me a text and say you got a hot 3-way. But if I don't pick up or if the leader you don't pick up, don't think that they're avoiding you. They're just doing another call. But as soon as they finish, guess what they're going to do? Call you back. So listen to me. Up front, it's your job to tell them that the person's extremely busy. Sharon, it's your job to say, listen, you know what? So if you don't get them, when you click back over, you say, hey, they probably on another phone call, but as soon as they call me back, I need you to be available. Because, I mean, listen, they busy. It's your job to edify how busy your leader is. Now, let's bring it home. I love it. So if I'm doing 3 with Mr. Bradley, here's how my 3-ways go. John, are you there? So I called Mr. Bradley. I texted him, said, will you be available? He said, I'm ready. So I called John. I asked John those 3 things. And I'm spending time keep going back over it so you get it. Because I know at the end I'm going to have questions. People say, what do you do? Listen, I'm giving you very specific instructions and tell you exactly what you do. So that's why I keep reiterating it so that you get it. So you got the person onto the launch call. You got the person onto the webinar, but you asked them, would you like best about what you saw? Would you like best about what you heard? You listen. They say, I like this. You agree. You say, me too. Now, once you ask that, and you say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give yourself? They say, I'm an 8. You say, awesome. Well, let me ask you a question. What would it take to move you from an 8 to a 10? And what question do you have? And they say, well, this is what I want to know, or this is the question I have. You see, I got the perfect person to ask that. You edify the person. You know what? This lady I'm working with, this gentleman I'm working with, know 100% of the facts. They love to help people. They personally work with me, but more importantly, they know how to make the money. So you edify them. So you say, I can't promise you I'll be able to get a lot of their time, but you know what? Let me see if they're available. Hold on one second. So I click over, Mr. Bradley. I got John on the phone. Now watch this. So John, are you there? Great. Mr. Bradley, are you there? Now it's your job to do the introduction. Now what's the introduction? Great. John, listen, I was so fortunate to be able to grab a few moments of Mr. Bradley's time. As I stated earlier, he's very, very busy. I reiterate, he's very, very busy, and he's working with many, many people. So I really, really appreciate his time. Listen, I know he doesn't have a lot of time, so I appreciate him just taking a couple minutes to get your questions answered. That's what you do. You edify that. Now, Mr. Bradley, the gentleman I have on the line, listen to me, it's in quotes. How do you know him? John's a coworker of mine. Share what exposure he had. He was actually tonight, he was able to listen to the launch call. He's really excited. Share his temperature. What do I mean his temperature? You took it, so he said he's an 8, he's a 7, he's a 6. Tell him. So I said, Mr. Bradley, he's really, really excited. He said on a scale of 10, he's an actual 8. And his question was, he wanted to know, I don't care what the question is, even if you could answer it, tell him what the question was. He had a question about the vision of the company. Mr. Bradley, this is John, Mr. Bradley. Mr. Bradley. And you be quiet while I'm going to go to the next slide. But listen to me. Guys, what I'm saying is you already edified your leader, told him he was extremely busy, he or she, your sideline partner, you said they're amazing, Orlando. I don't care who it is. You edified them. You did a good job. You made them want to listen to the person. So now you didn't make it feel like it was going to be pressure. It's just they're working with you. I got the perfect person to answer that question. That's a great question. I need to know the answer to that myself. Hold on a second. I can't promise you I can grab them, but let me see if I can get a few moments. You put them on the phone while they're holding. I tell Mr. Bradley, now when I get back on the phone, it's my job to connect the line. You'll be amazed how many people will do a 3-way phone call and just put them on the phone and say, here. No, absolutely not. That's unacceptable. You got to create the bridge for us to connect. And you got to give me a landing place so I can come in and guess what? So if you're doing it with Shedrick, if you're doing it with Jackie, if you're doing it with Shanaza, if you're doing it with whoever, you could be doing it with a sideline partner. And so guess what? I can say, Shauna, hey, listen, you know what? I got my personal sponsor on the line, Mr. Donald Bradley. And like I told you, he's extremely successful. He's the #1 money earner in the company. So again, I'm so grateful to be able to get it just a few minutes of his time on the phone. And that's all I'm saying. I already edified him before I got Shauna on the phone. But when I got on Shauna on the phone, I'm still going to say a little something nice. I'm not going to just not say nothing. I'm going to say, Mr. Bradley, Shauna, Mr. Bradley. Absolutely not. My job is to make a short introduction. And so then, and Mr. Bradley's expecting that. And your leader's expecting that. So I'm expecting you, when we put them on the phone, it's your job to take control and merge the call. What I mean merge the call is introduce me to that person, introduce the person to me. So what happens, it will say, Shedrick, the young lady I have on the line, she's a dear friend. In fact, she's one of my sorority sisters. You know what? She was actually, she came out tonight to the weekly meeting. And man, she is really, really excited. On a scale of 1 to 10, she's a 7. She's an 8. It don't really matter. I want you to know I'm going to get her temperature. And then you tell me what her question was. That's your job. And then once you do that, you say, Mr. Bradley, Shedrick, this is such and such, this is Shedrick. Or Mr. White. Because whatever you say is how the person. So listen to me. Always use the Mr. or the Mrs. in the last name. Do not become too common with the person. So if it's Mr. Bradley, don't say Donald. I don't care if you are good friends with Mr. Bradley and he gives you permission to call him Donald. When you're doing a 3-way phone call, it's Mr. Bradley. If you're doing a 3-way phone call with me, it's Mr. White. If you're doing a 3-way phone call, it's Miss Pippins. You want to create the respect. So don't become too common, although you may have that relationship. For the 3-way phone call, it is Mr. or Mrs. the last name. Now, let's move on. I got 2 more slides. So once you connect the call, mute your line. Mute your line. Hit the mute button. Hit the speakerphone that has mute your line. Why? Because you don't need all the background noise. And number 1, it should not come from the prospect. Now, and number 2, having said that, you want to tell your prospect to get in a quiet spot because you don't want all this noise and so forth. And typically, if I'm in a noisy environment, I will wait till I get to a silent environment so we don't have distractions. I'll wait till I get to my car. Some people say, well, can you do a 3-way phone call? And I say, I need 3 minutes because I need to get in a quiet place. We want to have a professional call. So you need to make sure on your end and on your prospect's end that the dog is put up. You need to make sure that, guess what, they reverence your person's time. So if you got background noise, don't do the 3-way phone call. Tell them, I need you to get in a quiet spot. It's too much noise going on. They got to see that you really reverence your leader's time. They got to see that. Now, once the call's taking place, do not interrupt. no matter what. Don't say, oh, shut up, you forgot to tell. Don't do it. I had a person do that one time, and guess what? I hung up the phone. They was like, what happened? I said, well, because they started talking. Well, you finished the call. You said, shut up, you didn't do that. I did. And guess what? It never happened again. When they put me on 3-way now, they hush all the time, and they let me finish the call. Because if they were the expert, they would be doing the call. I'm the expert, and you don't want to de-edify the person you just put on the line. Now, listen, when the call is over, which goes to Sharon's question, I'm going to do the call. I'm going to say, what would it take for you to partner up tonight with Sharon? What would it take for you tonight to partner with Eric? What would it take for you tonight to become Eric's partner? And I'm going to hush. And they're going to tell me, well, nothing. What do I got to do? I'm going to say, listen, they're going to get some information from you. Now, they may say, I got a couple more questions, and then guess what? I'm a bam fan them. So let me give you two scenarios. We get to the end, and I ask them, so what would it take you to partner with Tawanda tonight? What would it take to get you on board tonight? That's your leader's job to ask for them to close. So they're going to ask the closing question, what would it take for you to partner up tonight? And Desmond says, well, nothing. What would it take? Well, look, we're going to get some basic information from you. Your website will be up in 5 to 10 minutes. You know, I'm going to tell them you're going to get some information, but I'm expecting you to get the information. Why? Because they don't know me. They do know you. So now let me do one or two things. I can actually ask the questions and you write it down. I can ask and I write it down. But the point is, while they're on the phone, we need to get their information. Not, listen to me, not, well, okay, go to the computer. No. Because you'll have them go to the computer and just something not happen. You want to take the information. Now, can they give you the wrong information? They can, but guys, you the closer. Your leader is the closer. So when they ask you, what would it take you to, now, if you're brand new, we're going to ask the question. We're going to ask the question so you can listen. But if you've been on the phone once or twice, I'm expecting you to have the application and you fill out the application. But listen, they may be at 8 or 9, and even though we ask the question, they say, I still want to talk to my wife, and we're going to say, okay, we totally understand that. But we're going to say, okay, so how much time do you need? Would 48 hours be enough? Yeah, that'd be enough. So listen, can we follow up in 48 hours? Now listen, even though we said that, it's your job, the person, to make sure that we reconnect in 48 hours. That's your job. It's your job to put that on your calendar and say, okay, we got to follow up Mr. White tomorrow. Text him, hey, Mr. White's looking forward to talking to you. But don't you go try to answer questions. Don't you get on the phone and talk to them about the business. It's simply your job to make sure the follow-up takes place. So we're going to BAM fam them. BAM fam just simply means book a meeting from a meeting. And what that means is we're going to invite them to the next level of exposure. That's what that means. So having said that, man, this is good. And I didn't realize I was going so long. This is the last thing. This is the very last slide. Take an application. Guys, go to your back office and print out applications now. Go print out applications now. You should always have them with you. So guess what? You need the name. And here's how we do it. I would say, Shauna, just to make sure your name is spelled correctly on your check, how do you want your name spelled? And guess that's a closing question. Because she wants to get a check. So if she start giving me the name, guess what? I'm going to start filling in. Shauna, what's your date of birth? I'm not going to flinch. Shauna, now, and I typically ask the mailing address, who do you want your checks to be mailed? And she's going to give me her address because people want to get checks in the mail. I'm going to say, listen, you're going to be a 1099, you're an independent contractor, so are you going to use your social security number or you have to use your tax ID number? And I'm going to let her tell me which one. All right, what's that number? I don't see, people give information all the time. So if you flinch, they flinch. That's the answer to that question. If you flinch, they're going to flinch. What's your email address? Or confirm it. What's your phone number? Now, this is the part I have in blue. I told y'all this on the call on Friday. When you get to this part that asks the website, do not ask them what they want the website to be called. Just simply take their first, their last name, .vacation. Now, if they want to change it, they can. I'm just trying to save you guys half the battle y'all lose because you don't ask these questions and you start asking, so what you want to call your website? Don't ask them that. Because they're going to say, I need to think about it. I need to pray about it. And it's going to take another 48 hours. And then they were so excited, but they didn't close because you had to ask them what you wanted to name your website. Don't ask them. First name, last name, .vacation.com. Password. Listen, you can pick the password whatever you want to be. Mine's is Success01. If I sign you up, your password is Success01. I don't ask people for their password. I don't need to know it. I'm going to tell you what your password is. And once I get you in the system, you can change your password to whatever you want it to be. But you're going to have the password I give you. I'm not giving you an option because I'm filling out an application, so I don't even ask those questions. Hey, I'm going to ask you going to use a debit card or credit card. And if we went through those questions, you gave me your social, when I get to this part, I'm not flinching. I'm going to ask you for the money. So you use a debit card or credit card. Okay, is that a Visa, Discover, MasterCard, or American Express? And just hush. American Express. Okay, great. Can you read me the numbers from left to right? Awesome. Last one. Once you ask that, the numbers from left to right, you turn around and you simply ask for the expiration date and ask for the CVU code. The last question you must ask is a quick question. The address that your credit card statement goes to, is it the same as your mailing address? Don't nobody want a bill. Don't say what's your billing address. Simply ask them where your credit card statement goes to. Is this the same address as and if they say no, what is that address? And guys, you got the application. Tell them, hey, listen, your site's going to be up and running. You know, I'm going to get this in. Give yourself, tell them about an hour. I know it takes 5 minutes, but tell them about an hour just in case something goes wrong with your computer, just in case you can't get it immediately. They don't feel like something wrong and then they hesitate. You don't want to give them any pause or any reason to hesitate. You want to be able to go straight forward and say, you're going to be up and running. And guess what? When they get that email, you can then call them and welcome them and congratulate and so forth and so on. Because of time, guys, I want you to enjoy your shopping. Some of y'all packing presents and so forth, and I'm so excited. I apologize for the technical difficulties. This concludes the webinar. I'm going to stop recording, but if you do have questions, the webinar is officially over, but if you do have questions,